Hello, y'all, and welcome to the fifth episode of Shadowcast. I'm your host, Szerro. Today we have with me Keishi and Aka.
Hello, I'm
Hello,
back.
everyone.
I'm back finally. I took a couple weeks off there.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen you, Keishi. Where have you been? How's life?
Not playing Shadowverse. That's where I've been. It's been a little bit, you know, the beginning of this expansion was a little bit dull.
A little too much blood for you?
Little bit, you know.
A little bit.
You know how
Oh,
Albert says a little blood won't scare me. It
little.
scared me.
It stopped you. So Aka, how are you doing? How was your week? How's your week
I'm
in Hallowed been?
doing very well. I'm very happy because I qualified for NG Invitational, and I'm trying a lot of shadow lists. Yeah, what's the best list for me? Shadow is really fun at the moment because you can go so many ways. I just lathering, grinding with shadow, winning, losing, changing. It's fun though.
So what type of shadow are you playing right now?
At the moment, I'm playing a mid-range shadow list
Hmm.
that uses. I don't want to go into it too much because of obvious reasons for NG, but the standard list, triple Hectare, like everyone else.
Hmm.
I'm running Dead Spread still. I'm cut a little bit on the Necro Assassins because of the mirror and the blood matchup. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm testing Skeleton Fighters as well. It's been going too well actually. I think it's a really good card. People are sleeping on it, but I think Cure Mango played it to a great success as well on NG. So yeah, I'm having fun with Shadow.
Are you playing what's it called? Catacombs? Prince Catacomb?
No, I tested it. It was not my style. I don't know if I'm playing it wrong. I just could not sustain a board state for my turn 4 because the meta nowadays is too fast. There's too many trades happening. Back in Tempest of the Gods, you were facing a lot of dragons, and dragons could not remove your sticky boards. But now Bloods have bats, and Shadows also have a lot of skeletons, a lot of tutus. There's a lot of Lyrials as well on the running on the ladder and on tournaments, so you usually can't stick a board. So I haven't found much success with it.
So you're playing Necro Assassins instead?
No. I'm not playing Necroassassins. I'm playing. I didn't want to say it, but I'm playing Playful Necromancer.
Okay, okay,
Oh no, the tech has been revealed. I'm
okay.
just testing it out.
I guess
So
that
far, so
makes
good.
decent sense with Skeleton Fighter. I've always liked that card and thought it was a decent 3-drop option for the mid-range lists or the more aggressive mid-range lists.
Wait, are you thinking of Rabbit Necromancer, Kaishi? Are you talking about the 3/2 that when it dies does 2 damage?
No, no, I'm talking about Skeleton Fighter.
No, he's
It,
talking about Skeleton Fighter is kind of like a 3-drop because it has a Necromancy
isn't it?
cost.
That's what you said you were playing, right?
Yes, I'm playing Skeleton Fighter, yes, and
Yes. Okay.
Playful Necromancer,
I've always
yeah.
thought that was a decent option for the more aggressive mid-range shadow lists, and I've always tended to play a tentative knight over it though, because I really like playing Necro Assassin and Erd.
Yeah, I mean, when I decided to cut the Necroassassins, it's just a natural following that you cut attendance because your activations are very limited, and
Yeah, and
sometimes
as it
you
is,
don't
I'm
want
only
to.
running two.
Yeah. You don't want sometimes don't want to sacrifice your attendant because you're susceptible to board clears. But Necro just feels good when you Necro and clear
Yeah,
something.
I'm also running a little bit of a spicy shadow list at the moment. I'm running. I've been having pretty good success with a Minth deck that's running. It's pretty much standard mid range, except it runs 2 copies of Minth instead of where I would be running Erd. And then I cut a Cerberus, and I'm running 3 Deathly Tyrants, and I am having some pretty good success with it.
Dude, I love it. I want that list.
I'll send it to you later.
Send it to
I
me.
want I want the memes. I want the memes to flow on
If
ladder. I like it.
Kaishi, after we finish recording, I want to play you in just a best of 3. If I beat you with this deck twice, I'm bringing it to the next tournament. I
Sounds
plan.
good.
Sounds
I
good.
don't even think it's fair to call it a meme deck, Aka. It's like, because it actually, okay, so imagine playing mid-range Shadow, but you don't draw Death's Breath, because that's what I cut to put in Tyrants. All right, it
You're
plays
absolutely right.
it
Yeah.
plays like a normal mid-range deck. You know, you still have your Ector win condition, You still have, everything the deck normally does, except you have the option to drop a 13/13 sometimes.
That's
Huh.
an absolutely good point, and my meme, what I was trying to say with meme is actually a good point because what's a meme deck? We could actually point that out later on because we're gonna be talking about Mr. Suzume and what's considered a meme and what's a good deck because it changes so fast. The perception people have of decks just changes so fast.
Yeah, the same
I
thing
definitely agree with
happens
you.
in every game, though, right? If it
Yeah.
falls out of meta, it's instantly meme, right? If
Yes.
you're not a meta slave, you're a meme player.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that later.
I think so. We were talking about how a lot of you guys, I myself also happen to be playing a good amount of Shadow lately. I think it's starting to be pretty apparent. Shadow, it seems to be back on top as one of the best decks that you can be playing right now, like the standard mid Shadow with the Ektars. What else do you guys think is up on top with there?
Seeing obviously a lot of bad aggro blood. That's obviously up there.
I've seen Vengeance Blood as well. I think Blood as a class is just very popular. I've seen Neutral Blood, I've seen Bad Blood, I've seen Vengeance Blood, I even saw Control Blood. I think
What
it's super popular at the moment.
Blood
I'm
is
also seeing a fair amount of aggro sword. But what's so crazy to me is that even running these value options like Big Knuckle Bodyguard and Scarlet Sabreur, this blood deck that's circulating is so fast. It ends
it,
game on turn 5 consistently.
and it's not playing Scarlet or Big Knuckle.
No, no, it is. What I'm saying is that it's crazy that it's still that fast. It's just such a fast deck.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
It's
lost
nice
this
because
game
the
today.
Scarlet is
Yeah.
just good reach on top of it. It's like a
Yeah.
good threat and it's good reach.
Yeah. I lost this game today where he had an opening of a one drop and then a Vania and then a Summon Bloodkin followed by another one drop and then another Vania with the Nevo and I was dead. I played my Bone Chimera and my Soul Squasher, nothing else. I was just dead. I couldn't kill the
Just
Vanias, so I was just dead.
dead to rights.
If Sha if
Yes.
Shadow being
So
strong,
fast.
if Shadow being strong and Tempest of the Gods taught me anything about Shadowverse is that 1/1s are actually threatening.
Yes.
One ones are pretty spooky. So another deck that I've noticed that's going around a lot is Neutral Rune. Have you guys been seeing that?
I have faced a lot of neutral rune. I have not tested it out. I haven't played it. I haven't even touched it, but I faced a couple of them. Yeah. What about you, Keishi?
Uh, I've seen it once or twice. I'm not super impressed with it. I think it's not so hot.
I think it's a little strange that they still choose to not run Mutagenic Bolt and Oz. Or they do play Oz, but they don't play Mutagenic Bolt, and I don't think they play Dance of Death,
Yeah,
which
they
I think is
just
a little
got the
strange.
spells now. They just play us for a kind of like a Kara boss. It's kind of like the way to refill the hand after you deploy all the gas. Kind of like Phantom Cat for the old blood, but without the damage. So
Yeah, I'm
I,
kind of running a neutral rune deck that's more control-y, that runs the Saha top-end package,
I like that.
but it doesn't have that Alice aggressive curve.
I so much prefer the Saaquiel package because even that gives you reach, extra reach. The Israfil, people underestimate the damage of Israfil. I was playing NGE with a Dragon list with a lot of healing, and people were like, "Oh, this is not aggressive." That's what they think. But sometimes I tempo Bahamut or my Israfils with the Saaquiels just do 6 damage. It's kind of like the old Grimnir. So it's kind of crazy that the neutral rune has Felice and Israfil. I so much prefer that list. I saw a lot of aggro neutral rune, but I think Shadow is so much better than that because our 7 drop Iktar is so much stronger than Felice.
You're also running Illusionist with the option just to get your Israfil back or your Zeus back and do more damage.
I think Illusionist is a really strong card that just for whatever reason isn't.
You
I
uh
think
you
people,
you cut out there, but he was trying to say strong card that isn't seen play.
yeah, that is
Oh,
exactly what I'm
absolutely,
saying. Am I back? Am I
absolutely.
still cutting
Yeah,
out?
you're back. You're back.
Okay, great, great.
We actually saw Pancake running Illusionist on his burn rune just for the
Yeah,
for just for the extra punch. Yeah,
he ended up that was in NGE, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when he won.
exactly.
So I guess this is a good segue into talking about how good we've been doing lately.
Hype, HSK hype.
So in NGE this weekend, the NGE that just passed, we landed 2 people into the qualifiers. Our boy Aka right over here, and Suzume.
Also, real quick before we talk to NG, a shout out to my boy Mr. Teji, who also made top 6. Unfortunately, it didn't make it into the top 3 because he had fierce competitors, but he showed Control Forest, and that was really cool.
The triple Bahamut in Control Force 2 games in a row was his death in that tournament.
That was so
That was a
unfortunate. It
shame,
made me
man.
so sad to watch him draw 6 Bahamut's.
And the crazy thing is, he was having such a strong run. It was 2-0ing a lot of players. That
He
was
just
kind of crazy.
he hit a stone wall there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lost to Kira Mango.
So as well as Suzume and Aka who qualified, Akai and Lanafel also qualified from EU. And on the North American servers, Cure Mango, EXG Gengar, and Dis Underwear also qualified. So what do you guys think about how what Suzume brought? Because I think at this point, a lot of people are starting to maybe respect snow memes a little bit more. It's been a deck that HSK has been bringing a lot to tournaments, been performing really well for us.
I've always liked it. I just wish I can play it.
I just wish I had the cards I needed to play it. Unfortunately, I don't have Darius. I wanted to play it so much. Even after I lost to it, it just felt so good to play it, but I didn't have Darius. So
I've been practicing it and working on it. I might bring it to the next tournament, but
I think it's a very strong deck to bring in tournament.
I think
oh,
it's not good on
definitely.
ladder right now. It
It's a little spooky on ladder.
it
Kind of
has
dies to a
one
whole lot of things.
it has one huge glaring weakness. It auto loses to Ramp Dragon, which is the most
Yes,
unfortunate thing.
which is very unfortunate to me because I don't know if you guys saw NG, but I was forced kind of to play against Suzume, and his lineup was so good against mine. I had to ban. I could have banned Snowman, but I had to ban his Shadow because his Shadow was good against my 3 decks, and he is a smart player, so he obviously banned my Dragon. So Snowmeme just carried that series for him, and I felt so bad, but I had
Yeah.
no other choice. But Snowman is really strong against Shadow, and Burn Rune. It also deals really well with Burn Rune because one of the bad answers for the Illusionist is the K-Glow, and it's just faster. It just kills him faster than Burn Rune.
I think what's so nice about the deck is that it's just always able to pile on just not the most threatening board, but a board that you have to respect.
Yes.
Because if at any point you stop respecting the snow memes board, it can get out of control in an instant and just
Yes.
end the game when you wouldn't think it could.
Snowmans, we could be calling them bats, honestly, because the respect people give to bats is the same thing with the snowmans. People need to respect it as if they were bats, because trust me, Season A is gonna evolve the snowman into your face if he doesn't have a Levi.
But I think it's it's worse than bats because not worse as in like worse at winning the game, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's they're stronger than bats, right? Because you kill
Yeah,
one of them off, drop a Conjuring Force, and play 3 Fates hands, and you die.
yeah, yeah,
They
absolutely.
definitely can get a lot of reach when you didn't think they had it. Like you leave 3 snowmen on the board, every spell some now is just dealing an extra 3 damage.
That's what I love about Angelic Snipe in that deck, and this kind of segues into talking about another deck because I also always liked Angelic Snipe in Roach Forest because you're just getting so much value out of the card. It's 1 mana, the same cost as a fairy, so it's adding 1 damage to your Roach, but it's also doing 1 damage to their face, so it's 2 damage for
Yeah,
1 mana.
and it doesn't fill the board, which sometimes is really important, especially when
Exactly.
you want to do 20 damage or more. It's very hard to do 20 damage or more if your board is filled or if you have to use zero cost cards.
Yeah,
Because the
I
most
love that card.
damage you can do requires 3 roaches, and 3 spaces on the board are hard to do unless you have cards like Fairy Circle or Snipe. Yeah,
I think the most
I know
common Roach combo nowadays is Fairy Fairy 0 cost Goblin Mage, and then you bounce one of them and then play triple Roach.
yeah.
if you have it, that's definitely a good way to have lethal.
But I
I don't know
think
if I would say that's the most common way you get
well,
you get lethal with
Yeah,
roach.
what I've been seeing
very
though is that
specific.
forest lists are very frequently drawing all three roaches because they're only running the
Oh,
roaches as two
absolutely.
cost and under now. So Goblin Mage always pulls it, and then you're running three Gobu and three Fina, which always pull Goblin Mage. And you can hold, and because you're only running roaches, you can hold the zero cost Goblin Mage from Fina, and you can
Right now,
always get a roach off of it.
Yeah.
right now I'm also playing two of the fairy bringers, which might be a mistake, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I
Yeah,
get my I get to
create
have
your
a
own
cheaper
EPM.
Tia every now and then.
Yeah, create your own EPM. Don't need to play it. Just create your own zero cost fairies.
I still have the only forest list I ever play, really. I still have Reaper's list that he built at the beginning of the expansion,
That's a great deck.
with a couple of small edits, but it's largely the same deck. I replaced Grimnir after the nerf with Treant, and I'm playing one Dance of Death, one Will of the Forest instead of two Will of the Forest.
Yeah, that's what that is. Suddenly is a good card for OTK Roach because you're
I
seeing a lot of taunts, a
I
lot
have
of taunts.
I have always preferred or not always, but I usually prefer Dance of Death over Will of the Forest in my tempo roach.
I think if I were playing this list actively on ladder right now, I'd put the second Will of the Forest back in because I've
Probably.
been seeing enough ambush aggro sword that I think Will of the Forest is pretty good.
That's a deck that's starting to pop up a little bit more. That was a deck that I really enjoyed playing back in the day. The full on monkey sword.
Yeah, because nowadays it's even harder to deal with than Monkey Sword. Because Monkey Sword, you can use your removal. This new sword list is so annoying. I think the only way you can deal with it, if you're playing the slower deck, is to heal. It's the only option, I think. Because you cannot interact with their board. And when
Yeah,
you can,
even
it's probably too late.
even Themis and Haven is just too slow. You've lost the
Yeah,
game by then.
If they come out
exactly.
fast, yeah.
And then it's just Halberd over the top, so
You have
over
to
your
race
team.
them with a faster deck like Blood, or hope you can perfect curve ramp into a Bahamut on turn 5.
Or you could just like they have ways to deal. Like they can Breath of the Salamander. Rahab
Yeah.
is a card that hasn't been
Oh no,
seeing much play
Dragon.
lately.
Yeah, Dragon is a good matchup, I think.
Yeah,
We
also
actually talking
also
about this earlier with
Wrath
Zero. I
Drake
think
and
Dragon is good. Yeah, yeah.
Conflag.
I beat four ambush swords on the tournament for the NGE because of that, because I was running healing, and healing is one of the better answers for that deck. Unica is like playing Blazing Breath, because their Kunoichi, they play Palace Fencer to buff the Kunoichi, the 1/1 stealth, and he runs into your Unica, so it's basically Blazing Breath at that point.
Well, they don't always do that. Like they can whole sold it, or
Yeah, they don't
they
have to do
can
that,
they can
but
do the fireball jutsu. I forget the name of that card.
the Shield of Flame.
Yeah, that card.
Yeah, but then they don't have Shield of Flame for you. Sybil, that's basically I was winning those matchups because I was curving my heal effect. Unica into Ayala, into Sibyl, into Israfil or Lucifer with the Saaquiel. I think it's a good matchup for Dragon. If
I
you're
don't know.
running the Saa package.
I like the sword into dragon matchup, but
I
that's
think it's
just
just a
me.
race, right? It's who curves better and who
Hmm.
gets.
Oh, of
Does
course, yeah,
Sword
yeah.
get all their
Absolutely.
aggro or does Dragon get all their ramp?
Oh, definitely Sword is favorite if we talk about consistency. I mean, if we played 100 games, probably Sword would come up ahead because if Dragon does not have the spell he needs at the turn he needs, it's really bad.
I think
Well,
that's
Sword is
always
a
been
lot easier to
Sword's.
curve.
That's always been Sword's greatest strength, though. I
The
think
curve,
across the
yeah,
history of the game is its consistency.
yeah,
I
the curve,
played
yeah.
a lot. I mean, I climbed from A rank to AA rank, pretty much exclusively playing mid range and aggro sword, or not mid range and aggro. It was mid range and control sword,
sword
and
is just a fun class, I think.
I don't think it was the best way to climb. Mid sword was popular at the time. It was in mid ROB, but I always hovered around a 60% win rate. It wasn't something crazy like a 90% win rate, but it was consistent. I felt like it was like a player skill thing, and I was losing games because I was misplaying. The deck always gave me the options I needed to potentially, you know.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I am a lot. I'm a fan of mid-range sword. I hate aggro sword because I think mid-range sword you get punished a lot if you make a bad decision, and you get rewarded really well if you make a good decision. Aggro sword is just like you don't even care if you get punished or not. You just go face.
I think with aggro sword, you have to know when you're supposed to go all in. I
Yeah, but
I I, I enjoy aggro sword when it doesn't like draw really thin, and by
oh,
like turn 3 you're out of cards.
My favorite thing is when a sword player makes like you're sitting there with almost nothing on board, and you're just sitting there like, please don't do it, please don't do it, please don't do it, and they throw Albert on the board, evolve it, and then trade it, and you're like, yes.
yes, that's the best feeling. I actually played against it was yesterday. My shadow deck was playing against a mid-range ward, the commander one, with a lot of commanders, and he traded Albert twice, and I was like, thank God, because shadow does not run healing. If he went face twice with the Alberts, he would have won, because the first Albert was set up lethal, and I was like, thank God. He actually thought I had lethal, but I didn't, so I was like, oh God
Or
damn it,
maybe he
thank
thought you
God.
had Death's Breath.
Oh yeah, yeah. But the thing with sword, I think it's just too one-dimensional. I think the class needs to spice it up a bit.
I think you're right. I think there's just a lot of problems with sword as a class. I think part of it, like I've said this a bunch of times before, I harp on it, but why are none of the cards that should be commanders not commanders?
Like Hero of Antiquity,
Why is that not a commander?
that
I
peeves
mean,
me
Blade
so
Slayer,
much.
Hero of Antiquity.
that's a
I think
design flaw from the start because when you call a card commander and when you call a card officer, it gets so clunky sometimes because something works with something else and doesn't work with this, and then and now it's neutral. It's have you ever faced a sword player played against you and he was playing a rabbit here and Alice and then we play Maisie and Cinderella and it's like nothing works because it's like he's trying to do something and then he doesn't have neutrals, and then he has sword officers and then commanders. It's so clunky.
I
The
wish
neutral tag matters for sword more than the commander tag.
true.
Yes,
I really
true.
wish Maisie Red Riding Hood was destroy an enemy follower if a commander's in play. Uh,
They might make that card one.
one day.
Yeah,
I think Sword needs its own Soul Squasher. Use the
It
class
needs
mechanic to destroy an evolved enemy follower.
it needs
yeah.
some love.
It also needs some controlling options. 'Cause the removal they have is so awkward. Like
Yeah,
Shield of
Cyclone
Flame,
Blade.
you're playing an ambush deck to remove something, but ambush calls for aggro playstyle, so it's not really a control spell. But it's the class is definitely in a weird state.
I think
Yeah,
the
it's very
biggest problem,
clunky.
the biggest problem with Sword is that you put it in the middle of this meta dominated by Shadow and Blood at the moment, and even last expansion, and it just doesn't have the mid-game defensive tools that it needs to deal with these wide, small boards.
Yeah.
Like you play Geno on 4, Floral Fencer on 4. Your best defensive option, I think, is Amelia on 4.
Yeah, and they
Well,
keep printing cards that deal with big minions. Sword does not need that. Sword has so many cards. Tsubaki, the Momo that gains that gains Bane when it attacks a 5 attack or more.
Even
It has
Maisie.
so many options, and I don't understand why they keep printing cards. Maisie, for instance, why they keep printing cards that deal with big minions? We want solutions for small, wide boards, not big
well,
Yeah,
minions.
like you have
Mason's a
Veteran
great card.
Lancer, which is like the best two drop in Sword in a slower game when there's not so much aggro. And what else do you have? Not a whole. I actually come to think of it, I think Old Men and Old Woman is decent.
I think that's a pretty good card, but I was saying that from like the very beginning. I think from like the first episode of Shadowcast, I was saying old man and old woman might one day find a home.
I'm actually
I
playing
love
that
that
in
card.
a mid-range deck, Sword deck I've been toying with. I don't want to run frogs, so I don't.
Yeah, I actually got top two in Mim League with the Sword deck, the odds and the evens, and the old man and old woman carried all my Sword games.
Were
They
you also
always
playing
carried it.
frogs?
No, no, no. I don't like frogs. I don't know
Why
why.
don't you guys like frog? I think frog is a great card.
I think
I
it's an
think
annoying.
Pepe is
I just don't.
bad.
I don't want to play it in a mid-range deck. I was doing it a little bit last expansion. I was just playing a mid-range sword deck that had frogs in it instead of like novice troopers. But I think the aggressive side of a mid-range deck is not super great at the moment because you're looking at a mid-range deck as kind of a halfway between aggro and control is the way I tend to look at it.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
why it's called mid range.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
it's slower than aggro. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't win with face damage. It
but
wins with
I've
Usually damages
always
you with some bigger minions.
I've
yeah.
personally always played them mid-range decks more to the control-y side. So my mid-range sword deck, for example, I'm looking at it right now. I'm running White Ridge Swordsman, which I think is
Oh
a
yeah,
great
I
card.
love
I'm
that
running
card.
three
I
Heroes of
love that card.
Antiquity. Um, I have Floral Fencer in here. I might cut that for Amelia, just because you need that mid-game ward option. And I'm running Old Man and Old Woman. And this is the deck back in the day that ran Lyrials, that ran Novice Trooper. I saw it running like Pompous Princess sometimes, and they would lean more towards aggro. And I
Hmm.
think you need to do everything you can if you're not playing full aggro to curb the aggression against you, and otherwise you're just gonna get ran over by a faster deck.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that Sword needs right now is just doesn't have all too many ways to like grab and get a foot on the board like how it's supposed to. Like Shadow has a whole bunch of sticky minions. Blood usually has like overstated minions. And right now Sword doesn't really have any of that.
You have
Yeah.
Floral Fencer, and
But
that's it.
but
Also,
that's it.
something that's natural to the
Right.
class is you never, if you lose control of the game, you can never recover it. That's how I feel when I play Sword. Whenever I lose control of the game, I'm never in control again. I might
Otohime.
win with an Albert face, but I'm never in control. I never control the trades, which Sword loves to. Sword is the officer and the commanders. They're the battle guys. The wars. They participate in wars and battles, and they're not
They
controlling the
participate in
trades.
wars and battles. Everyone, Aka 2017.
You know what? Real talk though, I wish they'd stop printing good 5 drops for Sword. There's so
Oh my
many.
They
god,
give
so
them so
many.
many.
Like,
Yeah,
okay, you can't play Control Sword nowadays because you have like 11 5 drops. Like, because you
yeah.
want to run Albert, you want to run Luminous Mage, you want to run White Ridge Swordsman, but you also want to run like Monica.
Oh, Monica is. When I saw Monica, I thought she. The people don't agree with me. I guess if I was playing Sword, I would be playing Monica,
I
and
would
that guy.
occasionally get blown out by a Monica, and I'd be a little sad.
I was playing Monica in my mid sword lists back in RRB, but then Luminous Mage came out. That card is so
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Because Monica deals with wide boards. That's why I like it. It's kind of like a Tina, a
But it
better
doesn't deal with
actually.
snowmen.
True. But neither does
That thing
Luminous
deals with
Mage.
snowman.
They also have Kunoichi Master, which I think is also a decent sword 5 drop.
I think Konoichi Master is a card that's somewhat underplayed, potentially. That card
I
seems like really good to me.
I only see it on the ambush sword
Yeah, I'm seeing
list.
it a lot in
Yeah,
the ambush sword lists. I have a
yeah.
playset of animated ones.
It's so much damage, and it's
It's
so
kind
hard
of
to
like
deal with.
it's kind of like the Koga. I always like the Koga, but she's so expensive. This is a better Koga, I think. The
Yeah,
Um,
Kunoichi
I think
Master.
so.
back before you joined the team, Aka, we had a guy on our team who went by Asalia, and Asalia is now on Disastra. But he came up with a deck. He was a meme deck extraordinaire, and he came up with a sword deck that had the win condition of Koga into Walfred,
Oh,
and it was
I like it.
disgusting.
Is disgusting the right word for it?
Like, okay, so if you actually pull that off, it's so dirty.
So unexpected as well.
And then you get Bahamutted. Next question.
And then you play Albert. Okay, so Koga Walfred is 10 damage. It gets cleared. You play Albert Evo 10 face next turn.
Next
Zeus.
question.
Next question.
Zeus, next question. Okay.
Oh, we're playing this game, huh?
My answer
So
is
I play
support
my.
cannon.
If we're playing this game, then I play my Quinn, Dim Shift, Lucifer. Next question.
All right, how are
Uh,
you gonna get over my Zeus? You
how am
just
I?
discarded your hand.
I'm gonna get over your Zeus with a support cannon.
I top deck Dance of Death. Easy.
Judge my opponent top decked when he didn't top when he shouldn't have.
Do you remember when Wonderland Dreams was being teased and spoiled and the cards were coming out? people were theorizing this like Cinderella one-drop bouncing support cannon deck.
That did not pan out.
Could you imagine like how goofy that would
They
look?
were. They did that. What?
Yeah, okay, so it was a big like theorized combo. Like you run support cannon and you run Cinderella, and you play
Oh
Cinderella,
my
bounce it,
god.
play Cinderella, bounce it, play Cinderella,
Do
bounce it.
people
And,
even
and then
know?
Blood just played Tove on turn 2.
Do people even know how much mana that? Because let's talk real here. We all play Forest and OTK Forest. We know how expensive it is to bounce Roach, which is a 2 mana. Imagine bouncing a 3 mana. It's exponentially worse because
So
it's
much
one more
mana.
mana every time you bounce it. Oh my god, it's
On,
so
Speaking
on
of
dumb.
turn 10, you
weird,
could do it like 2 times a turn.
speaking of weird officer commander tags, why is Cinderella an officer? And I mean, no, why is Cinderella a commander?
She's a
Wait. Oh,
commander.
okay, okay. I
She's a
thought
co
she was gonna be a. If she was an
She's a
officer, that
commander,
would be
but
awkward.
Hero of Antiquity isn't a commander. Like
You know what's not a commander? White Rich Swordsman is not a commander.
nothing that should be a commander is a commander.
Alb-
The
Albert's
the
a
the
commander.
luminous the luminous mate. It's not luminous knight, right? Luminous knight. That's a commander.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, I'm
Palace
pretty sure
Fencer
Aesthetic
is
Knight
a
is a
commander.
commander.
What?
I'm pretty sure Aesthetic Knight is a commander.
no, it's
Like
not.
you
No,
want
it's
to,
not.
there's a card that summons a token that's like low cost. It might not be Aesthetic Knight, but it might be like a 4 mana version of Aesthetic Knight. That's absolutely a commander.
Oh
Do you think you have
yeah.
Monica that summons a 1/1?
No, that's not the one I'm
Monica's a
thinking of.
commander.
I might have to go in and try to find this card now.
I'm scrolling through.
It's. What about Luminous Knight and Palace Fencer? What do you think about those? Why is Palace Fencer? Why is a Fencer a commander? What does he command?
He commands the fences.
He commands the palace.
Commands the palace. Oh my god. Palace people don't even go to battles. What would they need to command? I don't get it.
They,
The
the
only
the palace fencer is in charge of all of the people that are protecting the king and the queen in the castle.
Yeah, the butlers and the maids, I understand. Yeah. Why is Pompous Princess a commander?
She's a princess. She commands the people around.
yeah, that one
Oh
makes
my
sense. I
god.
think the 4-drop version you're thinking of is a courageous knight. It's
Courageous
not.
Knight.
It's not
Oh
a
yeah.
commander though. It's an
Ah,
officer.
it's not. It's a 3/2, right? No, a 2/3,
I'm
right?
gonna find the
Yeah.
card I'm thinking of.
Is it Latham by any
But
chance?
No, I love
Latham's a
that card though.
commander.
Latham is a commander, yeah. That makes sense.
I wish Lotham had enhanced 6 gain storm.
I wish.
That's
I
crazy.
it needs. That would be actually might be okay then.
That
I
might be
w-
broken.
I wish the Latham leader would stop screaming at his evolution points.
Oh
They didn't do
yes.
anything.
Please. No.
They did nothing to you, don't you understand?
Oh my god.
I hate that he
So
just never
bad.
closes his mouth, man. So we've been talking a lot about Sword and
Sword,
about
yeah.
these decks.
Yeah,
What do
today
you
has just become the sword episode, I guess.
what do you guys?
we got the sworn fan here with Mr. Keishi, so
Hey, come on! I mained it for like an expansion and a
yeah.
half.
You sabotaged this episode
I
and made
climbed
it
all the way
ruin
from
with
B
the
rank
sword episode.
to AA rank with that back in the
Somebody
day.
respect me.
So you guys want to talk about some cards you like instead of classes and decks?
Alright, so what about Insight?
The
What about it?
Runecraft
Insight's kind of crazy.
1 mana.
I think Insight might be one of like everyone who plays Runecraft knows Insight's a good card, but do people realize how good Insight actually is?
I think it's definitely one of the highest value cards in the game. Like it's 1 mana, draw a card, and the neutral version of the card is just 2 mana. Same thing.
It's 1 mana, gain just like cheap mana for the rest of the game. Like your Darias become cheaper. So if you're playing Blade Mage, your Blade Mage will become cheaper. And Rune has so many ways to make things cheaper, and your Insight just makes everything either cheaper or better.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a crazy card, no doubt. But you know what's
Today I
probably
lost.
you know what might be even crazier? So
What's up?
uh Insight spell boosts, obviously. Draws 1 card, 1 mana. Witch's Cauldron does the exact same thing except it's also an Earth Sigil.
Witch's
mean,
Cauldron is a fantastic card.
I mean, it doesn't spell boost, but you're not playing spell boost in an Earthright deck usually. Like in
I
terms
would
of
say
accelerating your deck's win condition, don't you think Witch's Cauldron might actually be higher value than Insight?
I
I
think
would
they all
say
play the same role.
I would say Witcher's Cauldron is better than Insight because the Earthright effects are so much better than the Spell Boost one. Because
You
Spell
draw the
Boost, you're
card
not gaining
immediately.
value, you're gaining tempo later on. But
This
with
just in, deal
the
3 damage with a Halo Golem is better than gain an
yeah,
extra turn.
I think so.
Do you
Well,
actually?
not gaining an extra turn. I mean, we're talking about turn 4 against turn 7 or 8. Yeah, but I mean, I think Earth Sigil is a better mechanic than Spell Boost.
I
And
think it's
people
definitely
that
a
play
more
Dim
interesting
Shift,
mechanic.
people that play Dim Shift will trash talk me, but I'm just a value player. I think Earth Sigil gives so much more value than because look at it. That's why Earth Sigil plays so aggressive. It's proactive. Dim Shift is reactive because of that. Because Spell Boost does not give you inherent value. It just gives you a combo potential.
Yeah,
That's
it's
The
why
true.
card
Dim Shifts play defensive.
I hate playing against D-Shift.
the card that I was thinking of was Courageous Knight, and it is not a commander. I was incorrect about that.
What about, okay, so, uh, y'all talking about, you said you liked Insight. I'm going to talk about, Queen of the Dread Sea, because, I like Queen of the Dread Sea, but I dislike the card conceptually. And I just want to talk about why for a second.
I want to
Okay,
know why.
okay, so I mentioned this in the teaser podcast. I think it was the first episode, and we were going over some spoilers for this expansion.
Hmm.
And we were talking about this card, and uh, I like the card up to the point that it's a 10 mana, like, end game thing. Because, and as we have kind of seen, a couple outliers, but for the most part, just like I said, it's been only a finisher card for Ramp Dragon.
But
It,
what's wrong with that?
because it's a neutral card. Like,
So
and so is Zeus, and so
for
is
a long
Bahamut. And it's just going to show that every 10 mana neutral card they print is just becoming a finisher high end card for Dragon.
But what
Yes.
about like the one mana neutral spells, like Angelic Snipe, for instance? Like
Angelic
Dragon's
Snipe
never
is
gonna play
played in,
Angelic Snipe.
but Angelic Snipe is played in a lot of things because Dragon has a 1 mana version that's better. Most classes have a 1 mana version that's, well, no, okay, I'm not gonna say that, but I mean, Dragon has Blazing Breath for 1 mana, and it's just better. It's deal 2 damage, not one. And Forest plays that card, and Roach sometimes. Rune plays that card all the time.
Like you can't expect all the classes to play the same neutral spells. Like when that happens, that's when neutral craft was everywhere. And do you want that?
Yeah, but that's
Like
not what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, okay, so they gave Ramp Dragon Sybil, which is like the safest way possible to transition from your weak ramp early game to your incredibly strong late game. And I don't think anyone's going to reasonably dispute me if I say that Sybil is busted. That card single-handedly pulls Ramp Dragon from the realm of
Tier 3.
unviability to tier
Tier 3
2,
to tier 0, yeah.
tier 2 or
Sybil
0 or
Sybil
1.
limits design space for Dragon
A lot,
Yes.
because
a
you can't
lot.
you can't make much more ramp anymore.
I don't
But
mind that.
it might also be too much, right? Because even with, I'm not going to say a brick hand, but even with mediocre draws, you can still consistently be 3 play points, maybe 4 ahead of your opponent. And with perfect curve, I've seen players hit 10 when I was on 4.
Four.
But that was a retarded draw. That
Yes.
was like 3 oracles into Fervor and then a Sybil. Like that
The
was
I've
triple
done that
retarded.
a
oracle
lot.
openings are a little crazy.
You guys don't know this, but I can tell you for a fact that that happens a lot at
Oh, it
times.
does happen a
It's
lot.
really consistent. Yeah.
Okay, but so
Aka, do you think I don't play much Dragon?
No, 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 no. I'm just saying. I just want to add to the conversation that that happens a lot.
my point here is that you give Dragon such a consistent way to have that much more budget of mana budget available to it. And instantly, every good high cost neutral card just becomes a dragon card. Because why the hell would you play it in? I'm gonna pick on Teji a little bit. Why the hell would you play it in Forest when you can just play it in Dragon? And we went over this because Forest has the better early game, sure. But
That's the thing, though. That's why I think
It's just like
Bam.
how you're not going to see Path to
I
Purgatory in a
agree.
dragon deck, though.
I agree with your Queen rant. I don't agree with the Bam. I don't understand. We saw Pancake play Bam on Avon to quite a bit of success.
I think
I think
Bahamut's the
Bam.
most versatile
Yeah,
of the
but I
three
think
cards.
Bahamut could be seen in a lot of classes. I think
But
Bahamut in Forest makes sense because people were like saying, "Oh, it doesn't ramp. It's worse than Dragon." No, it's not. It's just a different kind of ramp. Because when you look at the 3-drop, at Forest plays a 3-drop. That's a 3/4. That could be ramp. That could be a Rahab. That could be a 4-mana minion or 4 play point minion. It's a different kind of ramp. It's a Dragon trades tempo ramp. Forest trades not having ramp for tempo because they have Beauty and the Beast. That's why Control Forest with the Sa package makes sense. And people didn't see that because, unfortunately, like we mentioned before, Teji bricked. But I've seen that Forest list. I was following some of his games, and I even screamed against him. And some curves are just disgustingly good.
I mean,
You're
I
not
agree
ramping,
that
but you're getting a lot of tempo on the board.
that deck's not bad at all. But my argument isn't really about Bahamut; it's about Queen, right?
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
maybe a better example is, have y'all seen that rune deck going around, the Dread Shift deck that runs the one of D Shift, the Dread
Yes.
Queen, and the
I have
Lucifers and Israfils?
I have tried to play that list, and I know Suzume has also tried to play it. And I have no idea how Suzume could win with that thing. I think there's a screen cap that Suzume has of him having like a 17 game win streak with that Queen Shift deck.
Well, he said he was playing some D Shift in there too, but
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
yeah,
Also to add to that conversation, that was the on the pre-nerf patch.
yes.
So we were seeing a lot of neutral blood, and apparently that list is good against neutral blood because you can just bounce their two mana new 2 PP neutral minions, neutral
So,
followers.
but my point is that yeah, nowadays you look at that list and you play this turn 10 at the earliest combo. That's Queen, D Shift, Lucifer. You get a new turn, you go face with everything. Why not just play that in Dragon, do the same thing on turn 6 with a Genesis Dragon and a Zeus?
Well, that's
Or a
why you see
Genesis
people
Dragon
do
and
that
an
in
Urd,
Dragon.
or an Ariete. Yeah, but see, that's my point. The fact
I
that
don't.
Dragon has
I
so much
think you
free
just have.
ramp, like,
I think. I think you just have a problem with them giving Dragon cards.
okay, yeah, maybe my core issue here is not with Queen, but with the way they've designed Dragon up to this point.
Like, would you just be happier if Dragon was not a neutral? If Queen was not a neutral card? Is that what you want?
I'd just like them to pretend for a second that they didn't design it as a Dragon card.
But you saw people were playing Queen Shift, so I don't think that argument's 100%.
Okay, well,
You know,
maybe it's not perfect, but
You know what's something funny? I didn't say this to a lot of people, but I played the beginning of this week. I was playing a Naven list with Quinn, and you know what I found out is that the best minion you can make a 0 mana of is Aegis.
Aegis is a
Queen
good card to have 0 mana.
Aegis.
Bahamut.
Yes. Queen Aegis Bahamut or Queen Aegis Zeus is so strong.
I like that. That's spicy.
I mean, I can
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, that's
Because
really
Aegis for
strong.
0 mana is
I,
just disgusting.
I think Queen is actually like a really cool card because I think one day, if the metagame starts to slow down enough where we can start see other classes playing Queen, we might see some crazy things happening.
Yeah, it's very creative and promotes this combo style, which I'm actually happy that side
So,
games promotes combos.
so I think it's fair of me to amend my statement. My problem maybe isn't with Queen of the Dread Sea.
It is with
My
Dragon, I think
problem
so,
is
yeah.
with how consistent and safe Dragon is at the
But
moment.
Yes.
that is literally what the class does, though. The class is supposed to ramp and play big things.
No,
Yeah.
the class is supposed to discard and play Dragon Newt.
It's supposed to set my things on fire with its conflagrations
It's
and its
supposed
wrath
to
drakes.
it's supposed to play 3 Wildfang Dragon Newts and then Altered Fate, and I'm supposed to
Could,
die. Why
I
can't
want
Yeah.
that
you
be the
to I
world
want
we
you to
live
sit
in?
down and think for a second. I want you to tell me with this straight face you would prefer if every time you queued into Dragon that's what they were doing. And winning consistently with it. Would you really prefer that?
I
Would you
don't.
prefer Dragon to be playing Phoenix Roost because they couldn't ramp anymore? Do you
No,
think
I
they?
like it. I like it when they
That's
play
what.
Phoenix Roost because that means I get to win.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I think you want to ramp from the game, so Dragon is forced to play Phoenix Roost to play their 10 drops.
Dude, we'll just
'Cause
go to
they're-
Jabberwock. You don't know.
The
Yeah.
card is so bad. Can we talk about how
Speaking of
bad
cards,
Phoenix Roost is for a second?
We talked
yes,
a good amount about Phoenix Years last week,
Oh,
yes,
y'all
but
did? I haven't
yeah, we
listened to it
did.
yet
yes.
because I'm lazy and I don't have enough team spirit or something.
Where's your HSK love? Your HSK pride?
Um,
Teji,
my
yo,
I
or
left
not
in the
Teji.
shower.
Keishi, go do laps around the block yelling
You,
HSK.
you guys want to talk about? You guys want to talk about good cards? I want to talk about a good card.
What
Let's
card is a
hear it.
good card?
Can I
Let's hear it.
talk about the most absolute amazing card in the game? It's called
Summon Soulman?
Mrs. Cristallia Tia. What do you guys feel about that card?
Crystalia Aaron is a better waifu. Next question.
What? You kidding me? No way.
Elf
So
Queen's a better
Crystallia,
waifu.
I
Next
fell in
question.
love with Crystallia as soon as I started playing Shadowverse, which was like 1 week after Darkness Evolved. When I saw Crystallia, I fell in love with the card because it's a 1/1. It looks so small, so weak, but summons this badass bodyguard, which is a female as well, which I also love. Gives a rush, so she's like bumps in straight forward into whatever you play and kills it. Because on turn 5, if you can pull it off, there's nothing that trades with the bodyguard. It's so good, and I love
I
the
think there's some
lore.
stuff that trades with the bodyguard. Yeah, like anything you could anything that you can evolve
No, I
will trade
mean,
into it.
no, I mean when you rush it the first time, there's nothing that trades fairly with it. I mean, there's
Alpha
I guess
Wolfman.
Bafagor and stuff like that, but
If you're
back
going
in the day,
second,
there were nothing. There were
if you're
no
going
no such
second, an
things.
evolved Sybil
Alpha
kills it.
Wolfman.
Yeah, but back in the day, there were no such things, no such busted cards like
Alpha
Civil or
Wolfman.
Bafagor.
Alpha
Looking-
Wolfman.
We were looking into 4/5s or 5/5s at most. I just love that card. So the lore, the voice lines, the
So you
dear.
deal with the first Alpha Wolfman, but what do you do about the second one?
I don't know.
For-
I evolved
for-
my fairy into it.
For those of you that don't know, Alpha Wolfman Bane that when you're in vengeance summons you another Alpha Wolfman.
I just don't put you into
not-
vengeance. Easy.
It's not the best card. It's
be
a card
fair-
that is near and dear to my heart though.
I have not
guys-
I have not been seeing anyone respect vengeance lately. Like
you guys
with
don't.
the
You
super
guys
fast.
don't like Crystallitia? What? Was
No, I
that
love that
just
card.
the conversation?
I like
The most
Crystalia too,
amazing,
but
absolutely
know,
card.
I love
Aaron
that
is
card. I
tweeting.
just don't like Tempo Forest. I think it's not. I don't think Forest General's super great right now.
Forest
Oh, I
is not
don't-
where I want it to be as a Forest main.
I don't care about Temple Forest. I care about Crystallia. That's all I care about.
Crystalia.
Yeah, my little Crystallia.
I just
Oh,
want Deepwood
dear.
Anomaly to be meta.
Deep, what anomaly. I was actually playing Crystalia Tia yesterday as a 3-of in a deck. I was playing Aka.
With that fairy bringer spicy juice.
Oh, Fairy Bringer's Craigasm.
Need fairy
So
drivers.
now that we talked about the best card in the game, we can go
Subtle
ahead.
transition.
Basically, I can prove to you that basically Crystality is the best card in the game.
Can you mathematically prove it to me?
Yes, absolutely. It's the best 5-drop in the game by far.
It summons you if you're able to play it with 2 free fairies. It is for 5 mana Kappa. A 9/9.
It's amazing.
5 mana and
Better
an
than-
Evo 9/9.
5 mana 9/9 with Rush and Ward.
And
Seems
Ward,
pretty good.
yeah. Seems pretty good.
Over 4 bodies.
You can also
It's better
Evo
than-
1 to get 3 more.
Better than
Yes.
Sibyl.
It's
You
a
guys,
Tia is a huge tempo swing when you play that card. Jeez.
Absolutely, yeah.
do you guys want to talk about some of what we think are the best for each mana cost?
Well, I think it's getting a little late. I think we've
Yeah.
been doing the podcast for a good amount of time.
We're at 50 minutes.
We're at 50 minutes. Yeah, so I think maybe we're gonna actually want to cut it off soon.
We have time to go over a couple.
You think so? All right, we can go
Just,
over a couple
just two
cards.
or three mana costs. We can talk for a few minutes.
Yeah, we could
Alright.
we could tease the format.
All right.
All
So just to put everyone else in the loop, we were talking about doing this format where we, starting at 1 mana and going up to 10, we just talk for a little bit about what we think the best card in the game for that cost is, and that's about it. We'll do a couple every episode.
I
Yeah,
think
we could
it's
talk
hard to
about
say.
one
I think
mana now.
I think we should preface it when we say best card in the game. We're being a little facetious. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, facetious is correct.
Facetious. It's we don't. It's hard to just say yeah this is definitively the best card in the game as I'm sure you guys can assume. But we're just gonna say some cards that we think just happens to be very powerful.
Yeah, we're looking into meta-defining cards, if you want to talk about it, or straight up value or straight up tempo, whatever you. Because it's really hard, like Zero said, to compare two cards because they do different things. Just which one has the most impact, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start off with one cost. What's your favorite? What do you think is your the best 1 mana card?
Well, I had already said earlier. I think Insight is one of the best cards in the game.
Insight.
Just quietly. What Insight does for like spell boost rune decks, the people who play the spell boost rune decks, they know what they got, but do they really know what they got? This card, when it hits it hits two things. That's not the craziest thing in the world, but that's pretty good for your 1 mana. You got the cycle, you got the draw card. It's not the biggest deal in the world. This card is like basically to me, I think if you were to compare it to any Magic card, this is gonna be like a ridiculous comparison, but it's somewhat similar to Black Lotus, whereas it'll just buy you a whole bunch of mana practically for free. Where Black Lotus will cost you a card, all Insight does is it'll cost you a mana.
I think there's a lot of 1 drops that are, or cards in general, not just 1 drops, that are not played often or not considered to be great, but just have the potential to rack up so much value. And
Like
I think
Commence
one of those
Experiment.
cards is Haunted House. Like,
Absolutely.
have you considered how much value Haunted House can potentially put out? There's a
We
Dude, I
saw
clip.
think
Season A. We saw Season A
Exactly.
kill a Beauty and the Beast with it. Yeah, absolutely.
He killed
that thing can
killed a
poop out
Beauty
like
and the Beast with a single Haunted House and a
Three
single.
ghosts, right? You got 3 ghosts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was 1 Haunted House and 1 Bone Chimera.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But regardless, and there's another card like that is Furtive Fangs. Are you familiar with that one?
Yes.
that is the thing that gives like a neutral minion you control Bane, right?
No, it gives it
It's
the
not
Medusa
Bane.
effect.
It's the Medusa effect.
I actually
Yes.
ran this as a 2 of in my Spawn Bloodcraft back in pre-nerf because it was really good in the mirror, and no one ever saw it coming. Just use a goblin to kill a big minion. It was always funny.
Yeah.
But
Like a Phantom Cat.
regardless, my vote for best 1 drop, I think, is going to Sacred Plea.
Sacred Plea is a very good card, to say
Uh,
the least. Sacred Plea is a lot like Ancestral Recall? Ancestral something from Magic. Which
I
is
don't I don't remember exactly where I saw this or heard this, but if I remember reading somewhere that if Sacred Plea were a Magic the Gathering card, it would
Ancestral
be worth
Visions.
$800.
Yes,
Whoa.
that is an $800 Magic card. That's an
Wow.
Ancestral Knowledge, I think. No, not Ancestral Knowledge. I think is Hearth. Play too many card games.
That is amazing, actually. I did not overvalue. I like to have that card on my Haven hand, but I didn't value it so highly. That's amazing.
It's actually so I think over Insight, right? So you draw 2 cards instead of 1. Obviously, it's 3 turns later, but this thing pops on turn 4. So that's your Evo turn. You're digging for more options. It gives if you have this thing on the board, you have the ability to play more um, liberally than you would otherwise, and throw away cards in your hand because you know you're going to draw them back. This card, I love it. It's so good. Playing it on turn 1 always feels so good, unless you're against Rune and they bounce it and you feel sad.
Yeah, for me, I would have to go back into the past where I started to play Shadowverse. Have to I have to mention 2 of my favorite 1 drops from the entire game. Let's start
Elfchild.
with Fairy Circle. Fairy Circle is such an amazing card. unfortunately, nowadays we are not seeing it being as valuable as it was back in the day because we're talking about drawing two cards, drawing one card. What if I tell you about drawing two cards and almost three because we are creating three shadows out of it. So we're
Fair,
basically drawing two cards and creating three shadows. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Path to Purgatory Forest, which was my first competitive complete deck of the game. And whenever I drew Fairy Circle, my win rate would exponentially rise because it synergizes so well with Ancient Elf, with
Fairy
Altered
Circle,
Fate. It's so amazing.
Fairy Circle just does so much for Forest, like as a whole.
For one mana, isn't
For
that crazy?
it's one mana. It's something you can play when you have a full when you have an almost full board for your Roach combos. It lets you do stuff with your mana, like it fills your curve. You can play it whenever you want. It's just
It's
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 great.
one
It's
mana
so rarely a bad
and
draw until you start flooding out on them. You draw on like
it's
two of them or three of them, then your hand becomes very thin.
yeah, it's one mana and it feels so versatile. That's even more versatile than some 4 mana or 5 mana cards. It's really incredible. I really like that card. And like I mentioned, Altered Fate, you would technically draw two cards with Fairy Circle if you had Altered Fate. If you stack two Fairy Circles and then Altered Fate, that's four cards. That's exponentially crazy. You could activate your Crystalias, you can activate your Ancient Elves for almost free, because you naturally curve into it for just one mana card. I really like it. And the second one, of course, not as great, but really good as well, is Nature's Guidance. We wouldn't be talking about OTK Roach without Nature's Guidance, because it
I
just has so much damage.
I want a 3 mana Fairy Circle that gives me Elf Child Maze instead of Fairy Circle.
Oh, wow.
That would be
Yeah.
busted.
You would be busted.
I mean, okay, so I think another fair contender for the best one drop is Elfchild May. That card is so good.
Yes.
Elf Child May is incredible. There's
I
a
think
reason people used to
statistically,
call her Demon Child.
I think statistically she's the best one drop if you just go by stats and not the way it feels to play. She's not so good at the moment, I think.
She is. The thing is just Forest isn't good at the
Yeah.
moment.
You guys want to move on to two drops?
Um, why don't we call it good on this tip?
We got about 5 minutes until we hit an hour.
Got 5 minutes till we hit an hour. All right. We can do it. We can hit an hour. Let's do it.
All right. So the obvious choice for two drop is fighter.
Sector. Next question. Strictly better fighter.
I'm
Okay,
so
true.
biased on these judgments because I come from the era of the greatest PTP forest meta.
Roach.
So for me, it's easy Fairy Whisperer.
Fairy Whisper.
Or Altered Fate, actually. Altered Fate is really powerful as well.
You think Altered Fate's the best two cost in the game?
No,
That's a bold claim.
no, I can't say that. No,
Okay, well that's what this segment is. What do you think is the best two cost in the game?
that's probably the hardest decision to make.
I'm sorry.
But I would have to say from the top of my head, without looking at every single card, I have to say it's Levi.
Levi.
Levy is very good.
I think that's
Yeah.
a very, very solid
From the top of my
contender.
head, from what I can remember, I would have to say it's Levi.
Levy, you mean 2 mana Dragon Warrior?
No, I mean Time Word Mage Levy, like you guys call it.
Yeah,
Levy.
I can get behind that one.
What do you guys think?
What do you think?
Now
I
you're
know
gonna
what Zero's
now you're
gonna
gonna
say.
jump in my wagon and say, "Oh, it's Levi. It's Levi."
I
I'm
know
gonna
what
go
Zero's
Roach.
gonna say. Roach, yeah. Roach. I'm gonna be a little bit more new age, and I'm gonna make the argument for Snow White.
Snow
Ooh,
White got nerfed. Next question.
pre-nerf or after nerfs?
I think even after nerf, it's still on Levi and Roach tier.
That's a
I-
good
If we were to
point.
tier these cards and from tier 0 to 3, you know, I think Soul Squasher, Levi, Roach, and Snow White are all easy
Oh,
zero tiers.
yes, yes.
I don't know if I'm planning on still playing 3 Snow Whites in my Haven anymore.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm questioning even one because most of the times it just trades with a 2-drop. Do you want your legendary 2-drop? I mean, do you want your tier 0 2-drop to trade into a 2-drop? That's because
well,
If-
clearly the card's much better on the play, or not on the draw. I'm sorry, because you have the potential to trade with 3 drops. Um,
Yes.
so I think that's a consideration to be made. Is it's much better on the draw. Uh, Also, I think it's not fair to say, do you want your legendary card to trade? Because
Yeah, yeah.
gameplay-wise, rarity of the card doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was unfortunate. I wasn't very explicit with it. I meant, do you want your best? So you're calling it one of the best two drops. Do you want the best two drop to only trade with a two drop? That's what I wanted to
Okay, but
say.
it doesn't only trade
You
with the
will
2 drop. I think the
with burn
strongest
two.
thing about the card is that, especially in this heavy aggro meta, it evolves itself, and you have the ability to play a 2/4 Heavenly Hound with Ward.
I think
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact that with these nerfs coming around, Haven taking a backseat is kind of telling that the Haven nerf to Snow White kind of did some pretty good damage to Haven.
I think
Absolutely.
it was
I don't think
definitely
Snow
a
White
heavier
is nearly
hit.
as powerful as she used to be.
I think it was definitely a heavier hit than they intended, or than a lot of people foresaw Haven
How
getting. But I think she's
how much
still like solid as a 2 drop on her own.
how much better nowadays is Snow White compared to say a what's it called? The 2 mana sword minion with ward.
Veteran
Uh,
Lancer.
Yeah,
Veteran
that
Land.
one. How much better is Snow White than Veteran Lancer at this point?
I mean, Veteran Lancer's not going to trade with the Grimnir. It's not going to trade with any 2/3.
That's correct. Yeah.
But Snow White doesn't get trade with the Goblin
Veteran Lancer's
and then
also
into
not
a
going to
2/2.
evolve itself and enable you to play a 2/4 ward on turn 3.
That it won't do. The fact that it enables Heavenly Hound is a huge thing that Snow White
Yes.
has.
But then again, are we talking about Snow White or the Hound? You know, because
Well, the
that
Hound wouldn't be
conversation
possible
becomes.
without Snow White enabling it.
It would be if they printed another card like Snow White.
But that's not.
No,
But
but
the card that
I
they
think
printed like Snow White is Snow White.
I
Okay,
I think the
that's what I'm
nerf
getting at
was
here.
needed, honestly, because two threes in this game are absolutely
Oh,
crazy.
definitely 2 drop trade
Yeah,
with a.
we saw the goblins. I mean, when I was playing against the neutral meta, I didn't see a goblin being a 1/2. I always saw them as two threes. I don't know what you guys think about that, but when I saw that card, I was like, oh, I gotta kill a 2/3.
Well, yeah, because Alice comes down and it's a 2/3. Feria
I
comes
saw
down and.
more 2/3 goblins than 1/2s actually. It's insane.
Rip.
The goblin leader. Oh my god!
Rest in
Let's
peace,
just not
Goblin
talk
Leader.
about that. So I forgot about Roach. You're right. You guys are actually right. Roach is a crazy card. I just saw the value of Levi. Levi has so much
There-
value.
No,
Levy
I
is
think.
definitely one of the best cards in the game.
Oh,
Oh,
I think
definitely,
there are a
definitely.
lot of
definitely.
very good cards. That's why like just
It's
talking
one of the
specifically about
hardest.
2 drops and saying what is the best ones is like basically impossible to pinpoint.
I think 2 drops are going to be the hardest class to do this segment on, or the hardest
I agree.
like
Two
cost.
drops in a lot of card games tend to be like some of the most powerful cards in the games I've noticed.
Because they define the rest of the game. How is it gonna be? Who's in control? Just by the power of the two drop that you play or your opponent does not play. That's why missing turn two, missing turn one is kind of okay. Missing turn two is crushing. Is
The
soul
big
crushing. It's worse than missing like turn 4 or 5. If you play it a 4 drop on turn 5, it's not as bad as playing like a 1 drop on turn 2. It's soul crushing.
I agree, but you know everyone, we've been doing this for a while. It's getting kind of late. I'm sure the listeners might have some other things that they need as well. So I want to give a couple shout outs before we sign off. I wanted to give a shout out to our Twitter. HSK finally has our Twitter live. You can find us on Hallowed_Sky. Um, that's the only shout out I had. What do you get? You guys have any shout outs?
I have a special shout out to the NGE tournament, of course, because I'll be participating on it. It's this Saturday. It's the start of the invitational. It's a round robin group phase, so we're basically 12 players divided into 2 groups of 6 players each. And I'm gonna be playing 2 series this Saturday, so it starts at 10 a.m. PDT, if I'm not mistaken, and the lists will be public on Friday. So I expect a lot of hype on that channel.
I know there's going to be a lot of hype in the HSK Discord server.
I hope so.
We'll be cheering our boys on, all 3 of them.
I want to give a shout out to Aya Senpai for correctly calling that Forest would not be winning this weekend.
Unfortunately, unfortunately. Feels
And
bad, man.
I also just want to give a shout out to a lot of the HSK boys. Again, getting into NGE, getting into the invitationals, that is a huge feat. And congratulations to Pancake Reaper, Aka, and Suzume for doing that.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, everyone. We'll be back next week. This has been Shadowcast episode 5. Enjoy your weeks on ladder, everyone.
See ya.
Goodbye.